Number 15, Vanderbilt. Having a historical start of the year. 5-0. 5-0 to start the year. They're going to be traveling to Tuscaloosa to take on number 10, Alabama. College game day is going to be here, although I would argue that, I think they would have been better served going to Miami and Florida State, but, we're just going to put those criticisms to the side. This is still going to be a really good game to watch, and this is a game that, maybe we didn't think about it at the time when the schedule was first released. And I also want to point this out as well. I was personally someone that was not very high on Vanderbilt coming into this year. I thought that they had a lot of bounces go their way, and even with those bounces going their way last year, they barely snuck in for bowl eligibility. I thought it was a nice story last year, but I thought even with Diego Pavia and Eric Stovers coming back, I still thought this was the type of year where maybe we see a return to the mean a little bit. Excuse me. So I just want to preface this entire preview saying that I am wrong about Vanderbilt. I did not think Vanderbilt was going to be this good, but evidently I was wrong. I was definitely wrong. And Vanderbilt, they absolutely deserve to be ranked, and I think they could be ranked higher. A real chance to really make a statement and be in a really rare territory where we see Vanderbilt secure a bowl eligibility already, and also really cement themselves deep into the SEC title hunt. Imagine saying that out loud before the season started. So I want to give Clark Leah and the entire staff flowers before we dive into it. Particularly, in the course of last week, they end up dominating. It looked a little sketchy at first for in the Utah State game. Utah State got some points up on them early, but then Vanderbilt, they really were able to lock in the second half. They looked dominant in the second half. They won 55-35. And so going into this week, they're going into this matchup, Vanderbilt is actually getting some respect. They are a 10.5 point underdog against the Crimson Tide. And they're going to be looking to really try to replicate what they did last year when this game was happening in Nashville, and when it was more of a split crowd in Nashville, able to create that 40-35 upset victory that they had last year, led by not only Diego Pavia, but it's a sneaky good receiving core. We already talked about Eric Stover, who is one of the finest tight ends in all of college football, but also some other receivers stepping up for Diego Pavia as well. Richie Hoskins is having himself an extremely nice season as well, and I think that deserves a lot of credit as well. And so Vanderbilt quickly showing that this team is more than just Diego Pavia. The talent around him has improved from last year, and I think that's something that is definitely evident when you watch this Commodores team play on any given Saturday basis. Now, Alabama is another team that deserves some flowers as well. I mean, Alabama, right after that week one slacking that they got against Florida State, a lot of people doubted them. A lot of people gave up on Alabama in week number one and thought that the season could very much fall off the rails extremely quickly for Alabama. But they right that ship. Not only beating UM Monroe 73-0, not only handling business against lesser competition, but then walking into Sanford Stadium, getting that big time win, and showing a lot more resiliency, a lot more effort, a lot more determination. This season could have gone horribly wrong for Alabama, but they have done what they need to do in order to right the ship. And what's been a little bit more of a roller coaster start than maybe what Crimson Tide fans would be comfortable with, right? They have definitely sharpened themselves up defensively, mostly from that standpoint of trying to basically show more effort against the run. They seem crisper against the pass, and they've also did a tremendous job creating some adjustments in terms of how do they tackle things on third down defensively, as well as creating pressure. I think pass rush has certainly improved since the start of the season as well. So I want to note those things for the Alabama Crimson Tide. But now I want to take a chance to take a dive into the model. What does the model think, right? So We talked about it earlier about how on FanDuel right now, Vanderbilt is a 10.5 point underdog. Well, if you take a look at what's going on with our internal power rating metrics here on College Football Red Zone, what you guys can see right now is that actually Vanderbilt should be an even shorter underdog than what FanDuel is reporting at this moment as a recording of this video. So Vanderbilt actually should just be an 8.5 point underdog, which really shows a tremendous amount of respect and how much better this Vanderbilt program has gotten just in the last couple of years. And I truly do love the story of Vanderbilt over the last couple of years. You know, that win that we saw, experience at our home building, was absolutely amazing. But I'm looking at the amount of momentum that Alabama is carrying. And not to mention Vanderbilt struggling a little bit with Utah State coming in. And maybe you can make the excuse of, that might have been a little bit more of a trap game, might have been a little bit more of a look-ahead game, because they did have Alabama next week. We can still see a lower floor for Vanderbilt than Alabama. And I'm just not sure if lightning strikes twice, because I don't think Alabama, unlike in past years, is going to look at this Vanderbilt game and look at it as a look-ahead game. Because, yes, Alabama, I don't have their schedule in front of me, but it's the SEC. It's going to be a tough grind throughout the rest of the year, and Vanderbilt is no different from that. So I think that Alabama is going to come into this game fully focused. I think Brian Denny is going to be rocking. And plus, frankly, I do think that Alabama is still a more talented team from an overall standpoint. I think Vanderbilt does put up a tremendous fight. And I really do think that Diego Pavia does everything that he can to keep his team in the game and put them in a position to possibly win this thing. But I think Alabama is simply too talented. I think Ty Simpson has improved tremendously as well. And so I am going with the model in the sense of I do think Alabama comes out on top. But I think Vanderbilt does cover here. But I think Alabama is simply too much at home. I think they go back to Brian Denny. They get another big-time win, a resume-boosting win, and the Crimson Tide win 31-24. I think it's going to be that final score.